People have been very helpful when it comes to explaining how things will work, what we have to look for, and so on. And we really appreciated General Moly's efforts to prepare the community for the events that are probably coming in the next year or so. We anticipate it to be overall a good change for everybody, and I think if we all work together, especially with General Moly, can turn out to be a good thing for everybody. You know, change always brings things that you don't always anticipate, but I think, you know, new people can make it a better community, and we're looking forward to meeting a lot of new friends.
I think it'll be good. God put that stuff out there for us to use. We have to use it wisely and get it out of the ground wisely, and I think General Moly's going to do that. And the world at large needs the mineral. It'll tend to make lives easier for an awful lot of people, really. Well, I think they're the one. They seem to be very much concerned with the community. They've helped the community. They pass out information freely, and they treat us real well. They haven't been pushing their weight around at all that I can see. These are lower and middle management people, I think, and they're very respectful. They are friendly. They live, I think some of them anyway, live here. They use our local services. I've met them over here next door at DJ's Diner. Well, yeah, they've got the office right downtown, open, I think they're, 4 days a week now? You can walk in there anytime you got something to talk about. There'll be somebody there to chat with. I think it's going to help out the community. You know, they started the little annex, if you will, out here. That indicates that they're putting down roots, you see. That they want a good place for their employees to live. It's real good in their support of the community.
Mining is always good for Nevada. It always has been good for Nevada. So it's really easy to be on the fence about mining because Eureka is such a cute little town, just the way it is. But as a business person, I'm always looking for more business. You know, in January and February in this town, it's like you almost got to go out and pull them in off the streets because it's so quiet and it's so hard to get through those months. So when you think of bringing 400 plus families in for a few years and then a big mine coming in for 40 years, you think, wow, business is going to be great. So it's kind of a balance, and I honestly haven't decided which is going to be the best for the town or for me or for anything, you know. What I really want is for it to happen already. I mean, mining, I know, takes a long time for BLM to do their thing and for the water department to do their thing and everything to come together. But it's the talking about it. It's the yada 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 yada. It's like, if you're going to do it, let's just go. Let's just do it already. You know, get on with it. So that's how I am. Cool. They're apparently picking people to bring in to work in their offices that are a high caliber, very knowledgeable group of people. And so if that's what they're going to bring in to work in the area, more power to them. Bring them in. So sure, I'm ready. Just bring it. Let's go. I think pretty much all the businesses in town are ready for it. It's time. I hate to see Eureka not be like Eureka, but at the same time, I'm all for economic development. I'm all for growth, and I'm all for expansion, because now when you look at the stuff across the country, it's really hard out there to get a job, and it's really hard to make a living. So if we can help and bring something into the area that is going to bring more people in the area and more jobs, that's probably a good thing for everybody.
There will be increased revenues for the county, which will be great. There will be a lot more people in town. We expect the town to double, potentially triple in size. So there's going to be some stresses and strains on housing and that sort of thing, but we're meeting that challenge, and I think it's going to be a good thing. They've been great. I know their management team. They're very approachable. They want it to be a mutually beneficial relationship. They want to help the community and help it be a prosperous place for everyone. They've already shown community spirit by installing lights at the high school, helping with that, and they've initiated a scholarship program for kids here, and that's really terrific, and it's a very generous scholarship.
Since the mine people have been coming, and they've each one of them's come and talked to me, and you came with Tim Arnold and you asked me, what is it you want? I said, lights on the football field. I've been saying that. You guys worked with the community, worked with resources. We got that. I think that that kind of an attitude is very positive. Anytime I've called you or I've called Tim about housing or I've called about whatever, if you had it, you'd make it available to us. And I think we've done the same sort of thing. I truly believe in a partnership. We're talking about scholarships. And I know that you've jumped right in, and Mount Hope has jumped right in, and we've got some scholarships already, and you're not even on the ground yet. So, you know, educationally, I'm very pleased. I don't have any concerns at all. The ones I've worked with have been outstanding. We've had an open communication, very honest, direct. I think it's a hopeful relationship. I see nothing but good coming. I hope that, you know, as it grows, as we mature, that it continues to grow in that manner. I don't see a reason why it shouldn't. I mean, we do different things, but we can complement each other. You have needs, we have needs. I see that that partnership continuing to grow. When I had a concern, I called. The response was immediate. You know, let me look into this. Came back, were able to help us. Whenever, I hope that you've had that same sort of thing when you've needed something, when Mount Hope needed something from the school system responded immediately. I see that as a positive thing. I see that, you know, there's going to be growing pains on everybody's part, but I think by bringing in industry, it's going to benefit the community as a whole.
I have been a supporter of this project from the very beginning. I do not want to see this community explode in growth. However, I think it could benefit from some growth. I believe this project provides a growth level that will be comfortable and will hopefully incite some of the things that I would like to see happen here, some more commercial growth, for example. This project will provide that. New housing projects, obviously, are going to be necessary to address the influx of new population. I think that's a positive. You know, this again is an old community in terms of buildings, housing. A lot of our housing is well over 50 years old. It's difficult in terms of a market when you're looking at lenders and the finance side of things. Housing loans are difficult to come by out here, even if you have outstanding credit, just because the market isn't established well enough and the homes are older homes. Financing can be very difficult, and refinancing opportunities are very limited, if non-existent. So I think on the first positive, you're going to create housing, you're going to increase the financing availability in this community. I think you're going to see commercial developers come in and try to establish new businesses. You'll see some of the existing commercial businesses looking to expand and offer more services. I think that's a real positive. I personally don't find any negatives in this. To have a 40-year mine project come to rest in your backyard like this that doesn't happen quite often. And it doesn't happen that I've ever seen, at least in the 14 years I've been here. A long-term project like that gives you the ability to plan for those long-term impacts, but also to plan for what those positive impacts could be as well. And you're not looking at an 8 or a 10-year mine project where they're going to come in and the work's going to be done, and then the 200 or 300 people that came here for that short amount of time are suddenly gone, and it goes back to almost a ghost town atmosphere. 40 years is a substantial project. You know, to talk 4 decades of having population here, you're probably looking at those people sticking around even after the mine project goes away. So I think it has a very it's going to have a very substantial long-term impact on this county, but I think it'll be a positive one. This county relies upon mining for its revenue. Over 90% of the tax revenues in this county come from gold mining, essentially. But mining and its associated businesses that support mining are what keep this county going. If you want to talk tax revenue, there's going to definitely be some substantial tax revenues generated from this mine project, as well as the housing and additional business that will come with the project. And that, again, is stability for the county. We're talking about stable revenues. When you're talking about housing, you're talking again about a long-term project like this, a 40-year project. You've got structures that are going to be put in place that are going to be here over time, generating revenues for the next at least 50 years or so. And that's stable revenue. This county enjoys the lowest tax rate in the state of Nevada because we have mining as an influence on our revenue stream. Anything in my mind that we can do to provide additional stable revenue elements helps us keep that tax rate down where it is right now. And again, additional housing helps that. A new mine project is going to generate substantial sales tax revenues, and it'll, again, 50 years worth of long-term property tax revenues. Not to mention the mineral revenues and the other stuff that will come from that. But what I see is 50 years from now, when this mine is not here, your housing still is, and that housing is still generating dollars that help sustain the community. And hopefully we've got new businesses in place at that point that are also generating revenue. And that stable revenue stream coming from property taxes is a real positive in my mind.
The reason why it is a lengthy process to get a mine up and running, you can't just go out there and say, oh, I'm putting a mine in here and put a shovel in the ground. It is a normally environmental impact statement has to be performed, a risk assessment, and those usually take at the minimum of 5 years. That is the standard length of a process. We started Mount Hope in September of 2006. We officially started the clock, and we have been very aggressive on our data collection and our submittals of all our reports, and we are actually doing a very good job of being thorough on any impacts that may be assessed and mitigating any items that need to be addressed. It still takes time. You have review process by a lot of different organizations and stakeholders before it even gets to the public comment period. And all those items have to be addressed before you can be published for public comment when you get a record of decision to open a mine.
Although General Moly is a new mine development company in Nevada, mining is not a new prospect in Nevada or Eureka. In fact, mining in Eureka dates back to 1864, the same year Nevada received statehood status. In its early days, Eureka, Nevada gained prominence as the largest producer of lead in the world. Other valuable minerals and precious metals followed, such as zinc, silver, and gold. Today, the citizens of Eureka prepare for a return to global prominence as they support General Moly's effort to develop the Mount Hope mine, one of the largest undeveloped primary molybdenum deposits in the world. The Mount Hope Mine, Nevada's Eureka moment.